What's up everybody? Today we are taking a closer look at the cards I pulled from my Origins booster box from Riftbound. So if you liked what you saw the other day with that video and you want to get into Riftbound, this is exactly what this video is for. I knew pretty much nothing a few days ago when I opened that box, and I've spent time just kind of trying to understand the cards and understand the game, and today we are going to have a look at those cards and see what they mean. So hopefully you're on the same sort of journey as me, and we can take a closer look at what they mean, how they work in the game, start to understand the cards themselves before we can start to build decks in future videos. From then on, we can start playing the game and having a lot of fun with Riftbound. So if you're new to the community or you have been there for a few months, let me know in the comments below how you could build a deck or what you would do to improve anything, or if I do make any mistakes, just correct me and we'll just have a little chat about it. It's all about learning in these early videos here. So if you look down at these cards I've got out already at the moment, these are what I pulled from the booster box. I've still got 12 more packs to go, so there'll be another video pulling those 12 packs. But if you have a look at the RE Nine-Tailed Fox, this card is your legend card, so you need a legend card and a champion card, and that is what your deck is centered around. As you can see, there is two colored icons up here. They are the runes, basically your energy that you need to play in the game. So each deck will be centered around two of these runes. So that already simplifies the game a little bit for you. If you're blown away at the moment and overwhelmed by how many cards there are, pick your champion, pick your legend card. Then you've narrowed it down to two colors and you can start from there. You can look into those two colors and see how those cards would work with your legend card. And that is what we're going to do here. I won't have enough to build a deck at the moment, so we are just, like I said, taking a look. So we've got the green rune, blue rune. They do have names. We're going to just ignore that for now and just stick to colors. Keep it simple early on. As you can see, this is a blue card here. It's a spell card. It has a 10 energy cost up in the corner, so it is definitely going to be a late game card to use, as it's going to take time to accrue that much runes energy for this card to be played. If you look down here, I'll pull this a bit further up. This is your champion card, and each champion card comes with a special sort of text down here which you can use in game. When I hold, you score 1 point. What is holding? Holding is gaining control of a battlefield, and that is what the game is centered around. There is 3 battlefields to choose from in any given match, and once you've controlled it, conquered it, and then you hold it, you then gain a card. You gain score an extra point, and the target is to reach 8 points in the game. Okay, so we'll put these aside and we'll go to the battlefields. Here we go. They are down in this corner. I'll bring these across here. Again, each battlefield comes with a, much like the previous champion card, a bit of text here that says, when you conquer here, ready 2 runes for the next turn. So you have 12 rune cards in your rune deck. Should have said this earlier, there are 2 separate decks, your main deck and your rune deck. You're ready 2 of those for your next turn. So with the battlefields in the game, you're going to want to choose from 3. So you're going to want one where you know you're going first, one where you know you're going second, and then there is a random one which is quite neutral that's beneficial if you go first or second. I haven't quite dived into all the battlefields and which ones to select at this point, so that is something that you can look into if you're interested. I picked 3 here. This is the second one. When you hold here, you may return your chosen champion from your trash to your champion zone if it's empty. This I thought was useful. If you've played your champion and it's been defeated, then you can pull your champion back up. Here's another one, the Candlelit Sanctum. When you conquer here, look at the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may recycle one or both of them. Put those back in any order. So Riftbound has no shuffling, so being able to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, seeing if they're useful or not. If not, you can put them back into your deck, and then that lifts the chance of you getting a card that is more useful for you in your next turn. I thought that was a kind of useful battlefield to have there as well. So also in this game, you are dealing with spells and gears. So we'll look at some spells first. Here we go, so a selection. Again, these are all cards I've pulled, so I've just sort of picked out random ones to take a look at. Stacked deck. Again, this is all from the Origins booster box. I know Spirit Forged has come out as a set and Unleashed is coming out in May. So if you get in now, you've only got 2 sets to kind of understand before coming into May, and you've got a 3rd set introduced for you. So this says look at the top 3 cards of your main deck, put 1 into your hand and recycle the rest. So again, much like that battlefield, you are looking further down into your deck, taking what you need, recycling what you don't. So I thought that was a useful card and a 1 rune cost there for that one. Stupefy. So this is a blue card. So we could use this in our Ari deck, the champion I had before starting off. Give a unit -1 this turn. So -1 Mite to a minimum of 1 plus draw 1. So you get to draw a card, which is great. More cards you have, better the hand is for you, and you're giving a -Mite to a enemy opponent. So your Mite is your sort of attack power. Look at it that way. You want to have a bigger Mite than they do, so by reducing their Mite, your units will be in a more advanced situation when you come into the combat. Gust. This is a difference. Again, purple, so each card has a color dedicated to it, so you can use those cards in those decks. And that's what I was saying, when you finally choose your champion and legend, you've got your 2 to choose from. So you have so many cards to look at the moment, but if you know yours is red and green, or blue and green like Ari, you can sort of just put aside all the other cards. It's good to know what they do because you will come up against them in decks, but when you're building your deck, that's a good start for you there. So let's read this. Return a unit to a battlefield with 3 Mite or less to its owner hand. So Gust, kind of what it is, says you can blow away your enemy units as long as they are of 3 Mite or less back to your opponent's hand. And this is good because when they have to play them again, their card will then be exhausted, so they need to go to their base before they can come back into a battlefield. Falling Star. So deal 3 to a unit. You can choose different units. So I chose this card to look at because deal 3, I'm assuming, please correct me if I'm wrong, you're dealing 3 damage to the unit you are against. So if they have a Mite of 4, you reduce it to a Mite of 1. And this card costs 2 to play, but also there's 2 symbols here. So what that means is you need 4 in your rune deck on the table for you to play this card. You exhaust 2 of them, so that means you turn them sideways, and this, having this sign here, means you recycle 2 of them. And what that means is you have to take 2 of those runes of that color in particular and put them back into your rune deck. So you'd have to redraw them. So it's kind of costly for a card like this, but it does a lot of damage to your opponent. If I'm reading that correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong yet again. The Face Breaker spell, again, this is a simple card where you use 2 rune cost. You can, and I chose this card to look at as well because there's another difference to this one. So it's hidden, hide for now, and there's an multicolored rune symbol there to react to later for 0. So that symbol being on the card means you have to recycle a rune card, and it can be of any color, which is great. You've got options then, but it also means you are losing a rune card back into your rune deck that you need to pull out again in the future. So there's a lot to this game already, as you can see. I'm hoping that by taking a closer look at these cards, it gives you a better understanding of the pure basics. Let me stress, this is the pure basics. I am learning myself, and I'm hoping that you are learning with me, and this helps anyone in any sort of way. So we've gone from your champions to the battlefields to the spells. We will look at gears next, but we've got this last card here. 1/1 again, 1 energy cost, 1 rune goes back to your rune deck. and deal 3 to a unit at a battlefield. Also, with these, there are different actions and reactions. So that's just when they can be played at certain times in the game as well. What's great with these booster packs, so in the booster box, they all come with these little helpful hint cards here. Timing of spells and abilities. Actions can be played on your turn as normal, but can also be played during showdowns, including during combat. Reactions can be played on your turn or during showdowns, but can also be played before another spell or ability resolves, so the reaction resolves first. So there are plenty of little keyword hint cards in the booster packs, which is very great for learning the game. There's plenty to look at, as you can tell. So if you ever get a bit lost with what things might understand, that's a good thing to refer to. Here's just a quick look at some of the rune cards as well. So as you play them, say if you've got your say if you've got your 2 there like that, you're playing them. Once you've used them, say you've used a card that costs 2 runes, there we go, you do that and you know they're exhausted for that turn. When you start your next turn, you awaken and then they're back in play like that. Nice and simple. We'll go to the units cards next. So much like your champion, they are characters that will help you win the game. So your first mate again. So 3 cost, 3 might. When you play me, ready another unit. So that's great. It means you can advance your game a little bit quicker and get another unit ready. The Kinko Monk, so we have a 4 energy cost, but also a 1 recycle. So you kind of want to say discard. You're not discarding, you're recycling it because it's going back into your rune deck. When you play me, buff 2 other friendly units. Each one that doesn't have a buff gets +1 might. So what is a buff? Buff are another card that you have here. A unit may have no more than 1 buff at a time. So as well as playing this card, which is quite strong for might, any other two cards that you have, you can give them an extra might. So a 3 becomes 4 and so on. And that attaches to it in that way, which, you know, it's pretty good. So as well as moving cards and moving a card in play, you also get to strengthen other cards in your deck. So that's a pretty useful unit to have. And a pit crew, I could use this in my RE deck. It is a blue colored card after all. When you play a gear, ready me. So to say you've played this onto your base, it's exhausted because it's come from your hand to your base. We have gear cards. I've got a gear card here that I picked out that I pulled from my booster box. It's Orb of Regret. Give a unit -1 this turn to a minimum of 1. So that is reducing the might of your opponent's card. And also you can refer back to this. It is now awaken, ready to play, which helpful again. That's my understanding. Please, if you are a seasoned player, please correct me on how that actually works. Just start up a conversation in the comments. Just say, oh, Aaron, just to let you know that this card actually means that this happens in game. This is just my basic understanding, but I'm just talking about you have 2 of the same colored cards and how they might interact within the decks. And lastly, we'll look at the Forge of the Future. Let's just get a closer look there. When you play this, play a 1 recruit token to your base. There we go, and kill this. Recycle up to 4 cards from the trash. So there are recruit tokens, much like your buff. There is another card that adds an extra recruit, so like a unit, an extra 1 might unit into your base. So there we go. That is the real basic look at the cards I pulled from the other day. So I hope you liked that video. That was literally just a video to look into Riftbound to see if you are interested. Do you like the artworks and maybe how this game looks and might play? This is just a few cards I pulled that I'm going through, and you know, like I said, I knew very little. I still know very little, but I'm hoping that we can do these little series to just get people involved and just have a good time with Riftbound. And we'll start looking at some decks. I've got some Kaiser cards and some Ari cards I might build a deck around. I'm also going to buy some starter decks. I'm focusing purely on just the Origin set so far because Spirit Forge has come out. I'm going to run through Origin and then get some Spirit Forged and then see how they join together, because this game's only 5-6 months old in the UK, and yeah, I mean, that's just how I'm going to do it and how hopefully it makes sense to other people before we start introducing a bunch of other cards from other sets and go from there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to check out Riftbound, and I really hope that anyone watching this is going to enjoy it as much as I've been enjoying it so far. I hope some of this made a bit sense and made it easier for you to understand. So once again, I just say thank you so much for watching. And remember, comment, like, subscribe, get involved, all that good stuff. Let's just have a chat about these cards, or what you might do with some of these cards that I've shown you. You might have gone, oh, I saw a Leona card there, maybe build a deck with that. I do this. Anything would be great. All right, okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.